feel like I have to introduce myself because there are so many faces in here. My name is Aaron Dodge. I thought of this tonight on the airplane that I was coming back on about a week ago. And I called Maria and said, we should do this. And she agreed. And not agreed, she got really excited and agreed. But thank you so much for being here. It means a lot. This is a topic that is very important to me. Didn't want to get emotional, but it's going to happen. I don't know why it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. I want everybody to think about somebody in their life who is currently going through mental health troubles. I want you to send as much positive energy as you can to them right now, because everybody needs it. So, fun fact, I married one friend, and I was the first one to cry. So I was at the altar, and I was like, oh yeah. So now that I got through that, if you have anybody that is going through anything right now, please think of them and send them positive vibes, and we're going to crank this thing out. So, like I said, my name is Aaron Dodge. I started a podcast called the Self-Awareness Podcast. It's a concept that was really important to me and came into my life a few years ago. Knowing, like Maria said on the podcast, know thyself. And I just kind of leaned into the concept of self-awareness, and ever since, some pretty amazing things have happened for me, both personally and professionally. So I launched that last week. Thank you to everybody that listened to episode 1. Joe Tabaldi was amazing, a great friend of mine. And then it was the end of January. I interviewed Maria. Everybody give it up for Maria. Interviewed Maria in January. Life got in the way, because it always does. And I'm editing this on the airplane a week ago. We did it in January, and mental health awareness came up multiple times with Maria's talk. And I said to myself, holy crap, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm going to get this done before the end of the month. I'm going to launch it before the end of the month. So I got off the airplane, and I called Maria, and I told her that we should talk about it a lot, because her story is amazing. She's amazing. Who listened to the podcast that launched this morning? Raise your hand. Awesome, thank you. You are one of the 100 plus people that have already listened to your podcast, so congratulations, that's awesome. But yeah, we wanted to have this talk, and as I say with people, my friends here in the building, whether I'm dancing on Instagram or being a goofball or just giving you a good Dodge hug, if it affects one person, then it's worth it. So that's what we're here, to affect one person. It might not even be anybody in this room. You could take something that she says to a friend that is in need, like I asked you to do. So, Maria, I think it's time to get to know you. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a good friend. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you all for being here. Can you hear me okay? All the way back? Awesome. I tend to laugh really loud, so I was told to put the mic away when I start laughing. But yeah, I'm so thankful that you all are here to listen to me tell my story. And thank you all for listening to the podcast. So I struggled with an eating disorder for a long time. And then as I went through recovery from that kind of transpired into anxiety and depression. And then over the years, I learned that anxiety and depression was always something that was there in my life, and that the eating disorder was something that showed itself because of that anxiety that I always had. So when I was going through all of that stuff, I really felt alone. I think a lot of people feel alone when they go through things like that, especially back then. We didn't have social media, we had the internet, but we didn't have the internet as we have it today. So I felt really isolated, plus I was young, so we all know what it's like to be 15 in our high school years, and then into our college years. It's hard when you're finding yourself. And so I knew that when I got over all of this stuff, that I had to create that space that was not there when I needed it the most. And so that's what led me to create RunningMyselfTogether. So throughout my journey in recovery, I started running, and for the first time, I felt like my racing mind was matching my racing body, and it was pretty cathartic. And from that point on, I kept running, and it's not a cure. It didn't cure me instantaneously, but it was a tool that I used. So I wanted to share that with other people. I thought that I really found something that helped me, and I wanted to bring that to others. So that's how I started the blog, Running Myself Together, and then later on became a certified running coach. And now I run and help other people run. Talk about it a lot.
Great. So the way that we're going to kind of structure this is I have a couple of questions for you. Answer those, and then we're kind of sort of flip it slightly and kind of use you as advice to anybody that could potentially be going through that, or if we have friends going through that as well. We forgot to do our little disclosure at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
We are not health professionals. If you have any questions, you but in all honesty, it just
I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm not any of those things. So I don't want to discredit what I'm about to say. But
you've been through it, so you have the right to talk about it. So, tell me when you realized you had an eating disorder.
That's a tough one. And luck for you. I think always self-aware as a kid. I always knew that I struggled with my confidence. I struggled with who I was, and I was in musical theater for the majority of my life. And when I was younger, I needed to be on stage being a leotard, and I didn't feel confident, so I started down a bad path of dieting, and that led to anorexia and all that stuff. I was conscious of the fact that I was struggling with something, but I didn't really know how to talk about it or to get help. But at some point, I did realize this is not right. All my thoughts are about food and how I look, and I'm very focused on losing weight as a 15-year-old. And so I did approach my mom, and I did say something, and we started me in therapy. But it's interesting when you're going through something like that, because not everybody knows what it's like, and not everybody knows what the right thing is to say. And so it was a long journey for me through that therapy process. But just starting was the biggest hurdle, and that really launched me forward.
So what did those first couple of months look like for you after you started to go to the therapist? What were some of your steps that you took to kind of tackle that?
One of the biggest things that I remember is in those first therapy sessions was talking about my eating disorder as if it were a person. So personifying it and making it almost a being. And for some reason that kind of clicked in my mind that, this is something that I can overcome. This doesn't consume me. This is not who I am. So that was a step that helped me. I mean, granted, it didn't cure me, but it did help me conceptualize what I was struggling with and what I was going through. The tricky thing with eating disorders is it is in your mind, and it is hard to see what it's like. And I talked about this a little bit on the podcast, but it's hard to see what life is like when you don't have that there anymore, when you don't have that friend anymore, when that friend is gone. So there's a lot of fear in recovery, but just going to therapy and talking about it, and then knowing that person sitting across from me was an unbiased opinion, and they have seen this time and time again, helped me begin the steps to overcome it.
So what did the journey through recovery look like?
Yeah, it was long. It was a long journey, and I don't want to say it never ends, because that doesn't sound positive. But it is something that you always have to be conscientious of. Something that you always have to take care of yourself, and you always have to take care of that. So for me, I was in therapy for a lot of years. Like I mentioned, didn't exactly know how to approach recovery from an eating disorder. But I was in therapy for a lot of years, and as I continued on in therapy throughout my high school years, when I entered college, I'm still in therapy. I'm still in therapy today. It's just something that's part of my mental health But then the anxiety and the depression started creeping in as I lost those other behaviors. So for example, I started having panic attacks. I started having days that I was really, really anxious, and then days where I was really, really low, and it was very hard to get out of bed. So it was like life was a roller coaster. And it wasn't until my senior year in college, it was the summer before my senior year in college, that I had a panic attack that wound me and that I had to go to the hospital for. So I was hospitalized, and at that point, I think it was finally recognized, with my family and with the people around me, that this is something serious that we really do need to address. And when I came home, when I came out of the hospital, I would say by the grace of God, we found a therapist that practiced what's called cognitive behavioral therapy, and that helped me almost retrain the way that I think and retrain my thoughts. And that was really the launching pad for me in order to overcome all that I had been struggling with. And I also started running through that time too. So it's been a long process. There's been ebbs and flows and ups and downs, but life is good.
Great. So you said it in the podcast, and you just said it again, that whether you think you're well or not, you should be going to therapy. So talk a little bit about that.
This is something that I'm very adamant about. I think that, even if you feel like you don't need it, and even if you feel like, well, this is just a rough patch, I'll just fight my way through it, there is nothing wrong with going to therapy. Absolutely 100% nothing wrong. And I just think there's so much value in sitting across from someone who is trained in what they do and who can talk to you in a way that's unbiased, and they can also listen to you, because sometimes it's hard for people to listen to what you're going through. So, went and saw a new therapist yesterday, and I was sitting there thinking, I don't need to be here, I'm over this. And then I was like, wait a second, I tell everyone else I need to go, I need to go. So I think it's super important to keeping your mental health in check.
So what advice do you have for someone struggling with anxiety and depression, undiagnosed, or they think it is, or when it first kind of comes into their life? Talk to someone you trust. Just get it out in the open. Because one there, that it can be fought, it can be addressed, it can be brought to the light, and the more you keep it inside, the more you close yourself off away from other people, because mental illness and any mental health struggle is isolating, and the last thing you want is to be isolated. So talk to somebody, and I know that it's hard to know where to start when looking for a therapist. Just start calling around. You'll get a good feeling when you start talking to people, and get yourself in there right away. So this is a topic that you and I talked about when we were putting this program together, and my sister actually brought it up to me, like, as she was listening to your podcast on the way. So talk a little bit about the stigma around medicine and how your experience with that.
Yeah, so I was always very anti-medicine, very anti-antidepressants, any of that kind of stuff. I think that came from my own ignorance. I didn't know enough about it, and I thought that I could just keep fighting through, and I just need to work harder and this will get better. And then as the years went on, that wasn't happening. I was still living life on a roller coaster. The roller coaster was not as big as time went on. But it actually wasn't until last fall that I was at such a low point, and it was strange because everything around me was fine. I was in a great relationship, I was training for a marathon, work was going well, my faith was deep, and I was passionate about it, so I couldn't understand, why am I still feeling so depressed? Why am I still feeling anxious? Why can't I get through this? So I started again in therapy, all over again, with somebody new who helped me, who gave me a different perspective than I had had before. And we worked hard, we talked through a lot, cried a lot. We talked about, my need to be a perfectionist, my need to, my lack of self-compassion, and finally we got to a point where she said, I think it's time for you to try medicine. And that was scary because that meant to me failure. I didn't work hard enough. I didn't try hard enough. I haven't been fighting this fight all my life, you know, for nothing. And so I was at such a point that I, you know, had done everything. So I said, okay, I'll go. And I went, and the doctor put me on 10 milligrams of Prozac. That was it. And I have to say, my life has changed completely because of that. And not just because of that, obviously I've done a lot of work, I continue to check in, I still go to therapy, but there shouldn't be the stigma around medication that there is now. I'm not a doctor, I don't know how to get anyone what they need, but I know that what worked for me was, again, overcoming yet another fear of mental health recovery and just going for it. And as soon as I started taking it, not instantaneously, but over the next couple of weeks, that cloud lifted. That anxiety was lowered a lot, and it really helped.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Let's see here. How do you handle or advise people to handle anxiety in the workplace and in social situations?
It's tough. It was hard starting when I graduated college and started working with, you know, that 9 to 5. It's a grind, and I was definitely in a work culture that was like that. And I was always honest and open about it, and I still am at work. So I'm fortunate now to work at a company where I can be open and honest, and they let me, you know, take a mental health day if I need it. But I think it's also important to know that you will still feel a range of emotions throughout the day, and that's okay. Don't be scared to feel those emotions. And just because one moment at work is really, really hard doesn't mean that that moment has to catastrophize your entire day. And it took me a long time to learn that because, I don't know, it's like, it's weird, it's almost cyclical. 3 o'clock every day I get in that slump. And I used to perpetuate that and thinking, oh my gosh, my anxiety's flaring up, what am I gonna do? I have to get this done, I can't think. And I write for work, I'm a writer. And so I'm like, I can't focus or concentrate. And I had to take a step back and say, it's okay to feel all the emotions. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That means you're a human being. And you can't turn off your humanity at work. You still have to be a human at work. So it's okay to feel those emotions.
So, how we, you know, obviously I cried at the beginning of this talk. Amazing, good start. But I mean, I was affected today by a friend of mine that has some issues going on, and I was had to be there at like a drop of a hat. So what do you say to someone that has a friend or loved one or family member that's dealing with mental health?
You have to give that person as much grace as you can, because it's going to be frustrating, and it's going to be, they're going to call you. If you are their person, they're going to call you a lot, and it can be tiring, and you might have to say the same things over and over again, but I promise they're listening, they're hearing it. Sometimes they just need that validation, and continue to make sure that they are doing what they need to do to hold them accountable. You know, we're not some like, just because someone has anxiety or depression doesn't mean they can't be held accountable for what they do. So make sure they're going to therapy, make sure they're talking about it, make sure, you know, if they have a bad habit or something that really trips them up, make sure that they're staying away from that.
So at this point, I forgot to reiterate when everybody walked in, the questions were for if someone felt that they didn't want to stand up or ask the question in front of anyone. So I'll put it out to everybody that if you did write something and you didn't know that and you felt that you could stand up and ask that certain question, I would love to open it up to, definitely not professional, but more so towards Maria. So does anybody have any questions they would like to ask Maria? Leona.
I'm just curious, what about running? What's so cathartic?
The question was for Instagram Live, what was so cathartic about running?
Yeah, I think what I mentioned before. So I was always in musical theater, so I spent my time on stage dancing, and that was great because I could take time away from who I was and be a different character. But with running, my body was actually in motion, and we all know about endorphins, right? And I totally believe that to be true. So you know, for me, running was never about being super fast. It was never about racing or this or that. It was really about spending time with myself and with my mind. And usually when I would sit, you know, at a desk or whatever, when I was trying to do schoolwork, work, and my mind's racing, it's hard to take those thoughts and actually rationalize them. But when my body was moving, I felt like I could actually do that. I could dissect those thoughts. I could tell myself what's true and what's not true. And it just became a practice. It became a tool for me in my mental health recovery.
Thank you, Robert. We talked about that on the podcast. Congratulations. Any other questions that people would like to ask? Or I can go to the index cards.
Where do you recommend starting if you're looking for a therapist? I know a lot of people are open to it, but even, you know, you get online and you look up therapists and there's hundreds, and thousands, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. Recommendation, but it's
Yeah. Ask around first. So if you know anyone who's in therapy, ask them what they think. I get asked this question a lot, and I'm sorry I don't have a good answer for it yet because I have seen so many therapists, and sometimes it's like dating almost. You have to just keep doing it and trying it. And the thing with therapy is, at first, it kind of sucks. Like, it doesn't feel good. You're telling this person you don't know all of these things about yourself. So you have to keep going. So first, find one, call around. A lot of them online talk about what they specialize in. So if you know what you're struggling with, or you know what someone else might be struggling with who's looking for one, you can usually get a good vibe when you talk to them on the phone. But then I think the biggest hurdle is going and then consistently going, because it's easy to give up in the beginning.
Do you mind me asking how much you go to your therapist?
It depends. It depends on what season of life I'm in. Sometimes it's every week. Sometimes it's once every couple of months. I've gone through periods where I've gone for 6 months to a year. So it really just depends.
Any other questions, or should I go to the next cards? Or Carrie?
For the CBT, like cognitive behavioral therapy, is that just only certain therapists are trained in it?
I think a lot of therapists are trained in it. That was the first time I'd ever been told what it was. So, but usually if they are trained in it, it says on their bio somewhere. It's really helpful, especially for eating disorders. It's very helpful.
Anybody else?
I got one more.
Love it.
Do you have any experience with the gut-brain axis and looking at the gut as a possible treatment for mental
much
illness?
experience.
Yeah.
I do know a lot about the gut, actually, but not for those reasons. I have stomach issues, but I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. But I do think that there is a connection there. And obviously there's a connection with what you put into your body, what you put on your body, what skincare products you use. I do think there's a connection there. I just don't have the qualifications to speak to it. Sorry.
We're going to go to another card. How do you check in? You talk about this on the podcast. How do you check in on your own mental health?
Every day I kind of assess how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, my stress levels, all that. I think a lot of people do that nowadays, self-awareness, mindfulness. And then it takes time. You know, it takes time to see what you do consistently. So, for example, I know, because I'm a woman, during certain times of the month, I feel more anxious than other times. So keeping track of, like, if you're a woman, your cycle, and seeing how that affects your mental health, because that's a big too. But then also knowing, like, what triggers you, and am I having those triggers in my life right now, you know? And also remembering that, like, there are seasons of life that are stressful. If you're, I don't know, switching jobs, going through a transition period, you just broke up with somebody, I don't know, it ebbs and flows. So you just have to make sure that you're consistently checking in with yourself.
What kind of things are on your mental checklist?
Well, I'm a faithful Christian, so I pray a lot, so that also helps ground me. But I have what I talked about some podcasts, my mental health toolkit. So yeah. So
That was when my friend called, two of my friends called separately to FaceTime me
Yes.
and interrupted your mental
That's
health
right.
toolkit. writing this. It says, I just broke up with a girlfriend, toxic relationship. How do you cope with toxic people, and how do you cut them out?
I just think you need a clean break. I just think you need a clean break. I could talk about this for a long time, but I think that boundaries are huge and we don't know how to set boundaries. And there are lots of books out there. Brene Brown talks about it all the time. Take the time to set your boundaries, and I know we might feel guilt by cutting somebody out, especially if maybe they were toxic and you think that you can change them or you think that you can help them. Just let them be. Just let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth your mental health.
Better off for it, I'm sure. How do you best embrace pain to grow into a better version of ourselves?
Yeah, I'm actually going through a period of this right now, and it's been tough, but what I've learned is, this is the analogy that I used the other day. It's kind of like you are sitting in a boat, and you're on the ocean, and you're just wading through the emotions, and you're letting them hit, and you're doing all of the thought work that you need to do to process whatever pain you're going through. But it's a process, so you have to let those emotions come. You have to let those waves come and feel that pain. Because if you're grieving something or mourning something or struggling with something, it's not just going to disappear. It's got to work itself out. And you have to trust that it will get better, because it will. You will get over it. Those wounds will heal, but they won't heal if you keep pushing them away.
What is your favorite thing to do to unwind, and what is how important is it to unwind?
I think that goes back to my mental health toolkit. I like to run. I like to hang out with friends. I'll just talk and talk and talk, and that helps me unwind. I don't know, like wine.
Does anybody else have any other questions for Maria? Yes.
So how are you doing now when you think about, kind of your journey through anorexia and going through recovery and, all the body images, issues, just, that whole process, how do you feel, just looking back on it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It has been something that I've struggled with, I think, since I was since I was a little girl, in terms of body image and all that stuff. And through a lot of therapy, through a lot of fighting the lies, because we are fed a lot of lies through the media we consume and then from our own perceptions of ourselves. I finally am at a place where I can eat a hamburger and I don't feel guilty. I can, live my life the way that I've always wanted to. And it took a lot, like I said, a lot of therapy. It took a lot of consistently reminding myself who I am. So again, like I said, I'm a faithful Christian, so I am rooted in Christ, and that is my center. And so all of this other stuff doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if I don't wear makeup today. I don't really care what you think anymore. And you kind of just get to this place of peace.
Self-awareness.
There you go. And oh shoot, I had something, I lost it. Yeah, the thing that I had was, I've really come to find, and I mentioned this on the podcast, but I've really come to find what those talents are that I have right now, and they might change in a few years, but building my confidence in that, and not building my confidence in what other people might think about me, or does this guy like me, or am I gonna, the whole thing. We've all been there, and I don't know, it just takes fighting those lies every single day. Every single day.
Yes.
Next question. Do you find that over a period of time it gets easier and easier and the voices kind of die down a lot? And then they come back? Is it strong, something triggers it, or is it?
Yeah. So, I don't know if y'all could hear, she was asking if those thoughts do come back and if they're stronger or not. So they do come back. And I still have to fight them every single day, right? And especially sorry guys, I'm gonna keep bringing up the whole cycle thing, but before I get my period, I'm like, why do I look like a bloated whale right now? And you just have to keep fighting that, and you have to keep telling yourself, well, what do I know is true about Maria? and then I list off all the affirmations. And I mean, it can sound kind of like, oh, that's a little weird, but, and sometimes I'm even like, oh, that's a little weird, but it works, and it's just this continuous repetition of reminding yourself who you are and the dignity that you have.
Any other questions? One more for Maria. Yes.
Do you like try to limit your social media time? Because I just feel like that's a platform that's so detrimental to
Oh, yeah.
mental health and body image, especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minus your job.
Yeah, so not unfortunately, thankfully, whoever's watching this, I handle social media for my company. And then I also run my own social media for my blog, but I am a huge proponent of taking complete days off. Sometimes I just delete all the apps from my phone. And I've also, especially this year, gotten very particular with who I follow. So if I see anything like that makes me feel uncomfortable about myself, I just unfollow that person. And I've had to say, maybe I'm just not called to follow that person right now, and maybe someday I'll be confident in that area, and then I can follow them. So then it's not like, oh, that person's terrible, because they're not, and it's social media, and I'm sure if I met them in person, I would love them dearly, but you have to do what's best for yourself. And so, you know, thankfully now on Instagram, you can like mute people and stuff, so that way you know if it's a friend and they're like, why did you unfollow me? You don't have to deal with that drama.
So I want to, at this point, celebrate you for coming on my podcast. Everything you're doing right now is amazing. Running Myself Together. You have a Tuesday night. You have a run club that you guys get together and do over in Freedom Park. So definitely, everybody can check that out on our social media as well. And then also, I want you to talk a little bit about, real quick before we wrap up, about your workout journal.
Yeah, so I decided to take all of these things and build them into a journal so that everyone else can create their mental health toolkits and write out what works for them, and then have daily reflections. So that should be out, I'm a little past my deadlines, but that should be out beginning in June. So stay tuned. It'll be inexpensive, and hopefully it helps someone.
Great. And also, I